yeah, with the breakfast in the morning. I practice raw, fast food. Okay, my goal when I'm preparing something is to prepare it fast. Why? Because sometimes I have a tribe here of like 10 people, and we need to make breakfast for 10 people. It's like we need to be able to roll it up. And if I'm preparing some very high-end, gourmet dish that is going to take me like 2-3 hours of preparation, making creams and milks and preparing, it's just too long, it's too complicated. So imagine that you're a mother and that you have 2 kids and that you have to get them ready for school in the morning, and you want to access something really healthy and easy to prepare. These are the kinds of things that I'm doing here. So this is why I'm using blender, putting everything in there, letting it go for it, and that's it. With some core ideas that I use. So I'm going to open all these boxes and show you what's in there. Got some ginger. We're going to use some mint as well. So maybe you can have a look at all these different ingredients. The first one here is black rice. So what I do with the rice is I soak it and then I let it sit there for at least 12 hours. And then what I do is I put this rice in the blender and it turns into a very beautiful purple flour. It's not cooked, but your body digests it really well when it's turned into, small flour. This is a combination of these green beans, mung beans, and some lentils. It's something that I've been sprouting. Also, it takes you like a couple of days of letting it sprout to create this beautiful box, you see. And this is fine for like, probably a week. And this is an experiment. I took different types of nuts and seeds and tried to sprout them as well to see which ones are sprouting. And I think the almonds have been sprouting a little bit, I'm not sure, but you see the sunflower seeds here. These ones are the ones that are sprouting really well. Let me show you a couple of other things. So we have the rice. The rice, I tried to sprout it, it doesn't. So maybe it has been a bit roasted or something like that, I'm not sure. It sprouts really well. This is the coconut from yesterday, left over, same as that. But because I didn't use it all. And I have some dried raisins. This is like a source of sugars, of fruit sugars. Instead of using any form of processed sugars, like I don't use agave, I don't use honey, I don't use any form of white sugar or brown sugar or any form of processed sugars. All the sugars that I use come either from raisins, dates, or the natural sugars contained in the fruit. I've got some limes. The lime is like the secret ingredient to bring flavor to all that. With lime, it's like, wow, it is really good. Without lime, it's like, it's okay. Another ingredient, ginger, I use it all the time for everything. Mint is going to add flavor as well, and mint is very magical. I'll tell you more about the mint another time. And I've got a little bit of chia seeds left here. Chia seeds, beautiful. So those ones also you soak them and they become this slimy, beautiful activated product. So in the slime around the seed, it's again lots of enzymes are being activated. And I have some chickpeas, and yes, I'm going to put a little bit of that in the breakfast, just because this is a source of protein, all the beans and all that. So when somebody asks you, where do you get your protein from? Here we go, sprouted things. We have the coconuts and then we have some fruits. Right now the fruits, I don't have too many of them, too many variations. Normally I have like 4 or 5 different types of fruit. Mangoes, apples, and bananas here. I have some papaya. And yeah, that's it, beautiful. So the way to prepare it, do you have any questions? Why am I talking to a camera? So, yeah, I start by putting some of the rice, or all of this rice. We're going to do a good bunch of it. I've got the coconut water here, but I'm not going to use it because the coconut water seems to be reacting with whatever is there. And if I use the coconut water, by tomorrow the nice smoothie that I prepared starts really to ferment already. So when you see it in the morning, it's making all these bubbles already. So I try not to use the coconut water in the smoothie, but if I was drinking it straight away, then I would use some. We're going to put some of this in there, and then some of those ones. Not too much because we're not creating a lunch. A few of these seeds as well. With the nuts and seeds you have to be careful. When you are going raw you might tend to use too many of them. So I would say, a couple of tablespoons a day, maybe 2-3, but not more in the beginning. And we have all this meat. As you can see, I'm not going to be picking up every, it's like whatever, all goes in there, it's all good stuff. And then the reason why I'm using rice is because when I don't, I have the feeling that I'm running out of energy. If I'm just on fruits and vegetables, it's like by lunchtime I feel like depleted energetically. So the carbs contained in the rice are like the long-term burners. They add energy which is going to burn slowly. The sugars, they burn much faster. So yeah, in my experience, it balances up. It gives me more energy to have a little bit of extra carbs, which is one of the main challenges that you might face when you are going raw. It's like you feel like you're not full enough, and so that's a good way to compensate for that. We're going to start adding the other ingredients now, and because I have this one from yesterday, I'm going, instead of using the fresh one, I'm first going to use the one from yesterday. Put a little bit more ginger, and I peeled the lime. The little pits in the lime, those ones, they give you lots of bitterness, and so when you put that in there, it just gives a very strong flavor to the smoothie that you're preparing. It's not unhealthy. On the contrary, I think that there is something really valuable in there. But for the taste, it's sometimes a little bit of a good idea to just take some of those bits out. But again, if you are used to the taste, it's better to keep all that in there. We're going to take some of these raisins, put them in there as well. Couple of apples. So I didn't show you the superfood. So this is a mix of different powders. When I'm in the supermarket here, or I go to the market and somebody says, "Oh, this powder is really good for you," I go and then I add it to what I call the vital mix. So this is like, you probably have by now maybe 15-20 different types of powders in there. Sometimes somebody leaves me some spirulina, I just add it in there. So this has a strong flavor. It's a mix of different things that you might use as teas as well. And I'm not too picky. The way I work is that I try things, and if they feel good, I keep on doing it. There's a bit of Himalayan salt. Adding a tiny little bit of it helps as well. I've got some spirulina, so I'm going to add some spirulina as well in there. And there is a place in town where I can get some fresh spirulina. This is going to be much more interesting. I'm first finishing the powder. I've got some cinnamon here. And then I had some maca, but I finished that maca. And then we are going to add some of these cacao beans in there. That's it. And then, ta-da! I've got some local spinach leaves. These ones also are a bit gone, but still okay. There is some kale and spinach in there. Again, you know, the carrots, everything that is like a root is going to be adding also carbs and substance to all that. You see, I mean, it's a mix of fruits and vegetables. When it comes to food combination, you know, it seems to work for me. Some people might go like, you know, this is not right to do it like that. It's all stuff that you can discuss and check it out. Something else that we will start adding as well is the bananas. We're going to add the bananas. The bananas, again, secret ingredient because it makes everything sweet. So if you make a smoothie that has no bananas or a smoothie with bananas, it's like it totally changes the flavor and the taste. So there are a couple of important elements in this. The first thing is that because I'm giving you explanations while I'm preparing, it takes me much longer to prepare it. But imagine that you are a single mother, that you have 2 kids at home and that you have to prepare a fast breakfast for somebody. This literally can take you just 5 minutes, okay? It doesn't have to be long. And if you don't have some of the ingredients, you do with what you have. You know, you could do the same with just coconut and banana, and if you don't have those, you know, find other fruit, you can, you know, add your own variation. This is a basic idea to get you started, but it's really very easy and very fast to prepare. All you need is a blender and some ingredients. So this is the way to do it that I think is really sustainable on the long term. Because if you prepare dishes which are too complex, then eventually it's difficult to sustain it on the long term, because you won't have the time, you don't have the continuity and the perseverance to keep on doing it, especially when you have a very, you know, stressful, high energy life where you need to start your day early. You need to have techniques and tactics to do it really, really fast. So instead of putting it in the blender, I'm going to keep it in pieces so that we can really have that specific flavor. You want this one? This is perfect airplane food. Always take mangoes in the airplane. Not messy at all. Your neighbor in the next seat will love you for that. Can I have a napkin? So this is a big volume, you know, normally I don't do that much, but here, look at that. We've got this massive powerhouse of energy. We're going to have ourselves a nice breakfast. And again, the topping is add a little bit of lime on top. It's not very appealing, right? It's not like bright red or something like that, but this is what happens with raw food. Very often, raw food it looks like brownish kind of mix of pastes and things, but this is what contains the high vibe nutritional value. So we can work on the aesthetics, okay, make it more pretty. For instance, if I don't put the spirulina and then I add dragon fruit to this, it's like you have this bright red thing. So you can make it prettier. And also in the fruit that I'm adding here right now is just mango and raisins, but I could be adding, you know, passion fruit and mangosteen that we have here, another fruit to make it a little bit more of flavor and more interesting to eat. That's it. This is going to be our breakfast, and then we have